Hi, this is Mary Kissel from the Daviess County Audubon Society. It's time for another episode of Bird is the Word. For the next 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about different kinds of swallows that live here in Daviess County. This week, it's the barn swallow. When I was growing up, a visit to my grandparents' home meant going down to the barn and watching barn swallows zip in and out of the barn. The barn swallow is blue-black with a buffy breast and a reddish-brown chin and throat. It's about 7 inches long. That's the male. The female has a lighter breast and shorter outer tail feathers. Both have forked tails. When you go to a party at a friend's house, do you find it hard eating while standing up? Consider the life of a barn swallow who eats while he's flying. They're more likely to eat larger flying insects to fill their bellies rather than swarms of smaller birds. It must be a super buggy year here on Horse Fork Creek because I've never seen so many barn swallows flying around. But creeks are also important for barn swallows because it takes about 1,000 trips of mud and grass pellets to build half-cup nests lined with feathers that they place in barns, culverts, caves, and bridges. For many years, our Audubon chapter taught bird classes each spring at the Western Kentucky Botanical Garden. And spring was a wonderful time to see barn swallows and their young. When I got out there a couple of weeks ago, there was just one mama bird left on the nest. You could just barely see her head and tail sticking out. Barn swallows will typically lay 2 to 7 white eggs that are reddish-brown speckles. If they have a second brood, they'll reuse their nest by removing the feathers and fortifying the rim with more mud. Barn swallow sounds have been described as a warbling twitter. Let's have a listen. In her book, Birds in the Yard Month by Month, author Sharon Sorensen shares myths about barn swallows. One maintained that Jesus Christ was consoled by swallows as he hung on the cross. Many farmers believed that if barn swallows left their barn, their cows would either dry up or give bloody milk. With this in mind, consider the outrage when George Bird Grinnell wrote an 1883 editorial called Spare the Swallows in Forest and Stream magazine. In it, he detailed the slaughter of swallows and other birds to make ladies' hats. Because of this, legislation eventually outlawed the use of live birds for feathers for women's hats and led to the creation of the very first National Audubon Society. So, thanks, Mr. Grinnell. For your at-home challenge, I challenge you to find a can of Play-Doh or some clay and make 100 pellets, pea-sized pellets of clay that you would use to make a nest. And then think, if I was a real swallow, it would take me 10 times longer to complete that task. So anyway, we'll see you next week when we talk about tree swallows. Thanks.